Rio 2 Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Begin by painting your pointer and ring nails orange, your thumbnail white, and your middle and pinky nails blue. For blue, with a medium blue paint, paint his head and his neck on your nail. So I'm going to start and just painting a curved line going across my nail, and then I'm just going to finish that off, and it's kind of like a curved, I don't know what to call it. It's not really a particular shape. And then you just want to add the little bit of neck feathers that stick out in the back, and then a few little head feathers. And I'm going to give this all a second coat. And then with a lighter blue, I'm just going to go through and add the highlight to his eye area. So this is just like a little circle that kind of goes right across in that area. And I'm also just going to add a few little highlights to the feathers on his chest and neck. And then with gray paint, I'm going to paint his beak. So starting with a curved line going up, and that's going to meet up with the very top of where his head is. And then I'm just going to fill in that area. And then you're also going to need to add the lower part of his beak too. And then a little point for his smile. And now in that middle of the lighter blue area, I'm going to add his eye with white paint. And as you'll see, my white paint will malfunction, and so I'm going to fix that as well. Yep, there's my malfunctioning white paint. It was a little bit thicker than I wanted it, so I'm just going to fix that up with a little bit of the lighter blue paint from the highlight to his eye. And then around the lighter area with just a full strength blue, I'm going to be adding a little low light around his eye. And then in the back side of his eye, I'm going to be adding a low light with gray. And I'm going to thin that out with white, just because it got a little bit thicker than I wanted, and you want this to be a really thin line. And now I'm going to add a brown circle in the center of the white of his eye, and a black dot in the middle of the brown. And so now I'm going to be outlining blue with a black line. So this includes the little frill on the back of his neck, and his head feathers, and his beak. Sorry, my hand keeps covering up what I'm painting. And then I'm just going to add a small reflection in his eye. So now for Jewel, with the lighter blue paint that you used for the highlight in his eye, just go through and paint her body shape. And hers is a little bit more curvy, a little bit more girlish. And also give her a few little head feathers. So now just the same, we're going to be adding her beak with the same gray paint. And her beak shape is very similar to Blue's, except for she has just a little bit more of a point on the side for her smile. And her beak is going to be closed. And now I'm just going to dip my brush in water and then in white paint to do this. And I'm just going to be adding her highlight to her eye area. And this one, and for her, it goes down her neck just a little bit as well. And now I'm going to add a half circle for her eye. And that's with full strength white paint. And now with the darker, the full strength blue paint, go through and just give her an upper and a lower eyelid. And then with a green paint, add a circle in the middle of her eye, and then a black circle in the middle of the green. And then a nostril. And this is the same thing, just go through and outline everything, except for with her, you're also going to be outlining her eye and adding a few eyelashes. Otherwise, it's the same, outline her head and her head feathers and her neck and her beak. And her lower beak went a little bit askew for me, so I'm going to go through and I'll fix that in just a moment. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little white highlight to her beak and also do that to blue, but I forgot to videotape it. And I'm going to fix that little line in her lower jaw, and I'm going to add a highlight to her eye. And then with pink paint, add a nice big flower right between her head feathers and her head, so right there on top of her head. And then I'm going to add little lines in the middle of each petal with white. So then for our Rio logo, start with the O, and you want this to be a little bit off center and right in the middle of your nail, but just a little bit down further. And then right next to that with yellow, add the I. And then in front of the I, we're going to be painting the R. And if your R runs into your eye a little bit, depending on how long your nail is, this might happen, just go and make it look like the I is on top of the R. So just paint it around the I. And this R is a fairly basic, simple print, except for one different thing is that it's going to have some head feathers on it, right in the upper corner. And then after the O, go through and paint the letter 2, or the number 2 rather. And it's the same thing. If the 2 runs into the O just a little bit, that's fine. Just paint it around the O. And then with a flat brush and pink paint, paint a flower on your middle and ring nails. And the reason I say a flat brush for this one specifically is because it's going to be a lot quicker, because you can almost just do this with funny little lines, with quick little lines to paint these different petals. And this is going to be kind of resembling a hibiscus flower. And then if your petals need a second coat, go through and add that now. And then with yellow paint, I'm going to add little lines coming up from the center of the flower up towards the tip of the petals. And then I'm going to fill in the center of the flower with that bright yellow paint. And then I'm going to be adding a stamen coming up towards the cuticle, and then just little bits of pollen on the end. And of course, add a layer of top coat. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like my design. Please comment with requests and subscribe. Also check me out on Facebook and Twitter. I will see you in the next video.